Thank you for being at our open house. We are super pleased to be able to share with you some of the features that make LEADPrep a special place. Our mission is all about being a dynamic space, and we want education to be engaging. We know that one size never fits all. As parents, as educators, it doesn't work. And we want our learners to be seen, heard, valued, and thriving. So we've done an introduction of our ambassadors and of each of you. We're going to talk about community, some summer socials, because it's really important for our kids to get to keep connecting and our parents, but it's also important for new families and students coming in to have a chance to socialize so that the first day of school is not a scary thing. We're going to talk about unifying our campuses, our daily schedule, and then a bit about our projects. So we are a school that puts relationships first. So you might see Jessie, who you just met, our photography teacher, determining that, hey, the kids are really energetic. So let's shorten the in-class lesson and let's get them outside taking pictures. The teachers are constantly adjusting or stopping to address an important issue. So it's about relationships first, and then the content works a lot better. We want our students to be able to self-advocate, and we model self-regulation, we practice it. We want them to have that choice, that voice. We also work on some of the social emotional learning pieces that every adolescent needs to work on. And then some of our students might actually have some extra challenges and need a little more help on that. So perspective taking, we do a check-in in the morning and a checkout in the afternoon, and it's a chance to take a minute and reflect, but also to hear other people's stories and look at things from another perspective. We work on communication and collaboration, and we have a counselor and a speech and language pathologist. They come on campus, they consult, they work with parents, they train us at PD. So together we create this community. We are definitely about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging is a super important part of that. So I look forward to you asking any questions you have of Charlie and Allison being new this year. Parents, you guys are an active voice at LEADPrep. We really want to hear what's going on so that we can all be on Team Charlie or Team Lewis. A nice benefit is our kids get years together and years with our teachers. So it really becomes a place where kids feel safe and they feel known. And a teacher might say, hey, did you get a chance to finish composing that song over the summer? And the conversations just carry on. And we are all about continuity of care, that we want to connect with outside counselors. We want to work with whoever is on that wraparound team to make sure that we're all supporting each student. Just a little look at our schedule. We have 3 blocks and then electives. And this is our draft for next fall. Wednesdays is an experiential day. So math is the one class that is taught all 4 days because it takes extra repetition, but then you'll see that students have a humanities day. And actually, I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. You'll see across when they have English, history, photography or STEM, and science. The electives, we're still drafting those, but script writing, Spanish, advanced photography, art, filmmaking, STEM, robotics, music appreciation are some of the ideas that the teachers are finalizing right now. So we love letting the kids choose a semester choice, anything that sounds good to them, like, hey, I've never tried Spanish. I think I want to give that a try. Or I love my photography class during the day. I want to see if I can get into the advanced photography and do more during the elective period. We also want, oops, let's see if I can go back. Uh-oh. I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. We want people to really understand similarities and differences with other models. I think a lot of us expect education to be the way it was when we were in school, and to see something different is kind of a surprise. So we are super focused that we have to be in this millennium and we need to be addressing learning and emotional needs. And the learning has to be active, relational, and it's going to ideally prepare our young adults for healthy, productive, and happy futures. So it can't be about textbooks and memorizing. We're all seeing what AI is doing. There's so many more resources out there. It has to be about higher level thinking, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, communication. It has to be about preparing students for careers that don't even exist right now. So we have made some intentional shifts. Our focus is on the individual student and then group learning and success. So things that we have stepped away from are students that are being talked at in a passive way. We want our students to be active learners. We have a flipped model that is a brief video lecture that the students preview at home or at the end of the school day, the day before. And then they're guided during class time by the teacher. So the work gets done at school, and watching the little flip or two the afternoon or evening before is the only homework. We really want kids to be learning where our teachers are present to coach them. We're not isolated silos. We are wraparound support. We also are not individual teachers just doing their own thing. All of our teachers use a common model. They use Google Classroom, flipped learning, the same expectations, the same class rules, so that our kids can have continuity and not try to figure out, oh, this boss wants this, that boss wants this, which can mean 6 or 7 bosses in a typical middle or high school. We want to slow that down and have continuity so that we can focus kids on learning and not what expectations, what teacher needs. We are not as focused on the final grade. We like to assess and refine as we go so we can slow it down or speed it up. And mistakes and trying again are welcomed. So you won't see big tests. You'll see kids creating projects that demonstrate their knowledge. You won't see a lot of pencil and paper tests. Math might be the one exception where we need to really see what they're doing with the skills and make sure they have all the steps right. A lot of funding in schools is spent on non-classroom personnel. We haven't done that. If you have visited our school, you'll see our spaces are leased, our supplies and everything are not as elaborate as they might be in a big school with a formal science lab and all of that. And our money instead of having a secretary and an IT person, we all wear a lot of hats, and that lets us have a 1:6 up to a 1:8 ratio. So we're about putting the money in the classrooms, serving the kids. And we don't do the fundraising. We are happy in our humble space, and we want to be focused on the amazing kids we have there. So these are differences that take some wrapping your head around, but to us, these are our priorities, and we want to be super clear about those. So some of our models, and this will be up on the site, or I can send this to you as well. We're really into inclusion, relationships, time for reflection, social emotional support, and we have a multi-tiered system of supports. And our dream team, our counselor, our SLP, and sometimes an OT, they help us with kids that don't need extra supports. They just need the common executive functioning that middle school brains and high school brains need, those that need some extra supports, and those that need a fair amount of extra supports. And we have them in tiers with different expectations. We also really love learning beyond the 4 walls. I'd love to have you ask Jesse and Charlie about service and expeditionary Wednesdays, or about intensives, our 3-week without walls, our camping trip. Our students have a lot of opportunities to be leading. So they might be helping their peers out, doing service projects. Sometimes we have Toastmaster meetings that they run. We also want to make sure they have bridges to life after high school. So some of our kids do Running Start with our support, and it's either online or an evening course. And we can coach them through that and make sure that they understand the college expectations. Our juniors and seniors are allowed to do internships on our Service Wednesdays. And a lot of our kids are doing passion projects. We have informational interviews, job shadows, a lot of ways to help students get prepared for what's after high school. Academic components, we are about students driving the projects and getting to those 5 C's: design thinking, real world application, We love project-based learning, and not like you do a unit and have a little project at the end, but that the quarter is about this project and this creating and the iterating with design thinking and refining. We are about personalizing the work. So sometimes a kid might need to have a modified grade if it's just too hard to work at grade level. And sometimes a kid gets it and they choose to go above and beyond and do an honors application of the course and pick out a project that they want to do to go above and beyond. The active learning, the flipped lessons, which means a little video that's done outside of school or at the end of the school day, and the work at school instead of the lesson at school and the work at home. We start later because developmentally our teens are not wide awake and ready for school at 7:30 or 8, so we start at 9. We have a lot of collaboration with other resources and clear routines. We really want to streamline so we can focus on each student and on the learning. And this is where I'll come back to this part, but this is where I get to turn off the recording.